folks. Today on the Stoney Ridge Farm Channel, we're having fun. Made in America, baby. Woo! Hey guys, we're at Belmont Trailers. Welcome back to the Stoney Ridge Farm Channel. Guys, we don't have a gooseneck trailer on the farm. I've been doing my research and I reached out to these guys at Belmont Trailers here in Lancaster.
Yep.
Not Lancaster, that evidently is in the UK.
Yep.
Don't say that when you come up here. In Pennsylvania, these are handmade trailers. This is an Amish-owned business,
Correct.
and this is the cream of the crop, the cream that rises to the top. We've got two trailers we're going to be picking up today, and we're going to take a factory tour and show you guys how real American people are building real American products here in America. And Jonathan is our expert, our resident expert on these trailers, so we're going to walk around each trailer real quick before we load them up and haul them back to North Carolina. What is this trailer called, man?
Behind me here is the GNX trailer. It is our fully engineered frame and gooseneck trailer. So up front here, you can obviously see the engineered neck.
Yep.
We've got 2 5/16 coupler. Engineered frame utilizes a multitude of materials. The flanges, top and bottom, are out of 100 KSI steel, and the web in between is out of 80 KSI steel. Mild steel comes in a range of 36 to 50 KSI, and what that is the pressure that the steel can take without permanently deflecting or bending.
Gotcha.
So this will flex, but it takes way more force to actually bend the material permanently.
And this is 80 KSI?
80 and 100.
80 and 100.
Yep.
So typical trailers, what are they made out of?
Yeah, so like a typical I-beam trailer will have about 50 KSI material in it. So we're talking nearly double throughout this trailer. When we were designing this trailer, we were trying to figure out how can we make the front area more usable. So we actually enclosed the entire gooseneck, gave you a roll-up door just like you'd find on a fire truck that allows you to organize and store tools, equipment in here, however you see fit. Again, the pegboard system allows you to move things around, add to it. Chains and binders and straps can all be organized in there, as well as tools and other things.
Awesome.
Behind this guard, we house the hydraulic pumps, air compressors, and batteries.
Okay.
This just tucks it underneath the deck, keeps it out of the way. Again, allows you to have that floor space for more equipment.
So tell me about this. There's a, push that button.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the button. Don't hit the red button.
Don't hit the red button.
Check that out, guys. So hydraulic driven jacks.
Correct.
And they settle via gravity via air, is that right?
That is correct. So these jacks here have an air return on them, or gravity return. So there's actually air pressure on the top side of the cylinder. So when you extend it, you're actually compressing air that allows the jack to lift the foot without using a hydraulic pressure.
Nice, nice. How does that shut? Is it really easy to shut?
Oh yeah.
So fully securable. Awesome.
Correct. Lockable. So keeps all your tools and straps and binders safe behind a door.
What kind of warranty do these trailers have?
Yeah, so all of Belmont's steel trailers have a 5-year manufacturer's warranty on the frame, the structure of the trailer.
Nice.
So again, if you have any issues, you reach out to us, our warranty department, and we help the guys out, the dealers or the customers, find a solution.
30 foot, that includes the dovetail on the end.
Correct.
Is that
So
correct?
it is 30 feet total. So you have 25 of flat deck and then a 5-foot beaver tail on the back.
Okay.
If we're looking down the side here, if you get a side profile of this trailer, you can actually see the camber to the frame. So again, it's a fully engineered frame. So it's a 16-inch tall beam. We make it here in-house. So we laser cut the parts and then weld them all together to create the frame.
Nice. So you don't order a beam.
No, we don't.
You make a beam.
On the GNX and GXD series, we make the beams for those trailers.
Awesome.
So you'll get a chance to check out that when you do the tour inside. But it allows us to have an arch to the frame so that when you load this thing up, you never get a sag.
Nice.
You will never get a belly in this trailer. You see those guys loaded down and they have
squatting and bouncing.
Yep, squatting and bouncing. You will never have that with these frames.
Awesome. Now you've got a ladder right here.
Yep, so just a retractable side step allows you to hop up on the deck.
Yep.
Above the gooseneck, I forgot to mention, there's a storage box.
Yep.
So again, if you're storing chains and binders.
Yeah. So tell me about that. It's lockable too?
Correct.
Premium lockable.
Correct. It's got 2 trigger latches. With that space, we often have a winch.
There's a light in here too.
Correct.
Is that right? Ah.
So this light up here, so we have a directional light on the side. So you loosen it up. The light can be turned and pointed in any direction. Tighten back down.
Nice.
What I like to say is guys that are loading up early in the morning or late at night, they can shine this over in the area they're picking stuff up from, and then they can just transport it over here to the deck. Again, just allows for that visibility around your work area.
So for the overachiever, that's the overachiever light. That's
right,
what I'm
that's
going to call
right.
that. The guy that works until dark
Yep.
because he's got to get the job done.
Clearance light on this trailer have been upgraded. So what's really cool about these clearance lights is they actually have a down light as well. So again, early morning, late at night, you flip the switch inside the gooseneck and there will be a white light around both sides of the trailer.
That's
just
awesome.
giving you that visibility so you're not running in or stumbling around the trailer.
Now I saw the straps are built in over there, kind of like a semi-truck on the other side.
So this trailer has sliding winch track down the length of the trailer.
Okay.
Again, just for ease of strapping things down, you don't have to always get your straps out. You can just roll those over, hook them, and tighten it down. This here is our full width wedge ramp. So a lot of holes cut in this just to lightweight it. The material that makes this up is actually the same as what's in the engineered beam. So this is 80 KSI steel in here. Again, it can take the abuse, it can bend, but it won't permanently bend. It always comes back to the shape. But it's really nice, they're spring assisted. We're tucked up against the wall here, but they'll stand straight up and then they'll lay over. So it's spring assisted. Again, just keeps it nice and easy. You don't have to fight it to get it up and down. Underneath all of Belmont's trailers are Dexter axles. So this trailer here is equipped with a Dexter 12K tandem setup. Basically the trailer has a 24,000 pound GVWR. The trailer itself empty weighs about 7,000 pounds. So you got a good bit of payload on this trailer for the equipment, material that you're hauling.
That's a stout trailer right there. What makes life so much easier is having that hydraulic setup.
Yes.
Now, will that hydraulic setup, the battery, is it set up to charge while you tow?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So,
and you can run an extension cord out.
absolutely, yeah. There's an onboard charger at the front. So if you're, again, using the jacks hard, we wouldn't necessarily run into an issue with the jacks, but our other trailer, the GXD, has a hydraulic dovetail. So that has more hydraulic cylinders, you're running it more. But here's the onboard charger. You just plug your extension cord in when you're at your shop, and that'll charge up the battery overnight. But yes, you are correct. The 7-pin plugged into the truck will charge up the battery while you're driving.
Awesome. And all of these slide, is that right?
That is correct.
Cool.
All except for the one in between the wheels. That one is welded in place.
Ah, gotcha. I see it.
And again, if you had a longer trailer, this winch track at the back would be longer. But yeah.
Awesome. That is way cool. Let's go check out the dump trailer,
All
man.
right.
This one's cool, but the dump trailer is even cooler. This
All
thing's
right.
awesome.
Yeah, behind me here is our new dump, the DLX series dump. This has a structural 8-inch I-beam underneath, but then the dump bed on top is more of a unibody design.
Okay.
So less cross members than you would find in our traditional trailers, and it also has thinner gauge walls and floors. Now I say thinner and you get worried.
Yeah.
Most of the industry is going to a 7-gauge, a thicker floor, and we've actually reached out to a company that makes higher grade steels. Again, something like you'd find in our engineered frame on the Gooseneck. This floor here is made of 180 KSI material.
Wow.
So it takes dents and rocks and whatever else, and sorry, I shouldn't say it takes dents. It prevents dents.
Gotcha.
So the material, again, just absorbs the impact, distributes it out, and makes it a more dent-resistant floor. The material is actually called Hardox. You can look it up. It's really cool what they're doing with this material.
Cool. Now I could use this to haul gravel, dirt, whatever, anything, machinery, everything
Anything
that
you
I
put
need
in there,
to.
yeah.
There are a lot of laws dictating that you got to have your load covered up. I like
Correct.
how it has the built-in ramp. Show us the ram here. This is something different. So I see a lot of dump trailers out there, and they have a scissor system underneath. This has the gigantic cylinder.
Correct.
Look at that. Looks like it's off of a track loader.
So when we were designing our front telescopic dump, a lot of the industry uses a 3-stage cylinder. And what that means is the cylinder is going to have to stick out the top of the trailer. And we said, well, what can we do to improve the look and even the function of the trailer? What we ended up with is a 5-stage hydraulic cylinder.
Nice.
We call it the low profile cylinder. What that means is it doesn't stick up above the front of the dump. So, you know, when you're loading this thing with your skid loader and you're swinging around, you don't accidentally hit the cylinder on the trailer.
Okay.
You think that's it? We have a whole nother cylinder.
Oh,
yet.
there's another one?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Holy cow. Look at this thing. Wow. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. So tell me about that cylinder again. That is a 5-stage cylinder?
This is a 5-stage cylinder manufactured by Stillwell. We reached out to them about a year ago and said, hey, what can we do? What are our options? We were actually exploring a 4-stage, but it's still stuck up above the front wall by about 10 to 12 inches. And we said, if we're going this far, let's go all the way, sink that cylinder below the front wall, again, preventing you from running into it with your booms or your skid loaders or whatever it might be.
Nice. We've got a ramp system here that pulls out from the back. We've got jacks on each corner, so if you're loading equipment, you don't pick up the back of your truck. Ask me how I know that happens sometimes.
That it does.
I loaded up a piece of equipment one time. My truck just started rolling down the hill. I was like, ah!
Yep. Yeah, so the rear stabilizer jacks, again, allow you to plant the rear of the trailer. Like you said, not pick up the
heavy-duty
truck.
steps on here with grips. I mean, it looks like you guys have thought of everything. You've got tool storage under here also. Tell me about this tool storage area.
Yeah, so all of our dump trailers have always had an underbody tray, again, to keep shovels, even the spare tire, things like that.
Yeah.
And what we were trying to do with this series trailer was create a tray that was safer.
Gotcha.
So guys were lifting it up about 4 or 5 inches and then reaching underneath to grab their shovel. And we said, what can we do to help them use the safety prop as it was intended?
Right.
So this safety prop here has the bar across, just to kind of encourage customers or people to use it, reach in, grab their shovel, but again, with the safety prop underneath.
Gotcha. And we're bringing it down. I'm over here bringing it down right now so you guys can see how this is designed. Now, if it had weight in it, it would go down a whole lot faster. We've got greasable points right here, and this is for safety. So your guys aren't under here working or yourself climbing up underneath this thing without a safety prop, which is awesome. And that'll hold that up, no problem.
Correct, yeah.
Very cool. Same kind of I-beam construction. You guys build these beams custom in-house?
We actually don't. So this is a structural beam. We built a machine that actually forms. It's a single beam that we actually bend in-house.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Super heavy-duty hookup right here. I guess you could switch that out for a pintle hitch if you wanted to, anything you want. Same hook design that was on the other trailer. Just super heavy-duty, overbuilt. I mean, in my mind, it's just overbuilt. Now, let's go back to the back of it because I thought that was a pretty cool curiosity. Tell me about the different configurations we can do here in the rear.
Yeah, so the rear here is set up with a 3-way gate. So that's your traditional barn doors. The clasp here in the center allows you to swing the 2 doors out. You have a tailgate function, so releasing the hooks on both sides allows the tailgate. And then the spread gate. The lever here, release the lock, and you can open the spread gate.
This also has the hydraulic jack point right here, guys, so you're not standing here going, so it makes a lot of sense too.
Onboard charger, same thing as it's on the Gooseneck there.
Nice. Lockable storage here
Correct.
for binders, all that stuff that you need.
Selector valve allows you to switch between the hydraulic jack and the dump, so it's one pump, one remote with a selector valve in there.
There's a super premium paint situation going on here. Tell me about this paint. This is really heavy duty stuff.
Correct. So Belmont uses a 2-coat polyurethane paint, so it's all wet paint. We do not powder coat anywhere in this shop.
Okay.
So all of our trailers that we put out are using a polyurethane paint.
Why paint versus powder coat?
So in our experience with paint, it scratches and you can touch it up. With powder coat, it tends to, once you chip it or scratch it, it'll peel.
Man, that's a sharp looking trailer. What color is this?
So this is our sandstone color.
Gotcha. All right, here's a full-on demo.
So release that. That's your spread gate.
Gotcha.
The chains here allow you to adjust the amount it opens.
Gotcha. So spread gravel with this, spread material.
Locks up top are for the tailgate function. Same chains will limit the amount that opens.
Awesome.
So.
Very cool.
And then the barn door function here opens up. What's really nice about this, the hold back is actually built into the hinge here.
Okay.
So traditionally we have a hold back that's usually on the back side here, but it's actually just inside the hinge.
Nice.
Release that.
A lot of people break a tailgate like this by not pinning it back like it should be when they dump. Can a guy break his tailgate and call you up and get a new one sent to him?
Well, hey, use and abuse, I don't know, but we do try and take care of our customers. Again, if you had something that breaks, we want to help you out and get you back on the road.
All right, Jonathan, thank you so
You're
much
welcome,
for taking
Josh.
us around. We're going to get with Brian and we're going to go through the factory and show you guys, and then we're going to load these up. We're going to be double stacking trailers to haul back to North Carolina. It's going to be a challenge to get this thing off once I get it home. I'll be scratching my head a bit. Guys, this is Brian with Belmont Trailers, and we're going to walk through this factory. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
This is
welcome.
awesome to be able to come through here
Glad to have you.
and show people how things are made.
Our manufacturing facility is set up very much in a lean manufacturing process. What that means is that we've laid out the factory to be as efficient as possible. So the way the factory is laid out, you'll start at the front of our facility here. We have our what we call our saw line or our cut line. All of our trailers, when we put an order into our system for a trailer, a production sheet is generated for that specific trailer model. And every trailer model that we have has a cut list or a saw list for that particular model, where our guys will pre-cut all of the structural steel that is needed for that particular model. And the parts will be pre-cut. They'll be put on these carts that you see here, specific to that trailer model.
Nice.
And then those carts will then be taken to the specific line that that trailer is being manufactured on. So we have 5 lines here, the custom line, we have our utility landscape line, we have our equipment line, and we have our dump line.
Cool.
So the carts will be staged at the front of every line in order to be able to start the fabrication process. So each one of our lines, you'll notice we have what's called a fixture table or a jig specific to that trailer model. So what that allows us to do is, for repeatability, for consistency, and for efficiency, all the pre-cut parts will be placed into that fixture table. Our guys in fab will weld them up. They'll be able to pick that subframe up, flip it over, weld the other side, and continue on down the process in manufacturing the trailers. Once the trailers are manufactured, again, all of our trailers are steel. We paint all of our trailers with a 2-part polyurethane primer and a top coat. And before the trailers are painted, they go through a phosphoric acid wash bay, which is what you see here. So there's no trailer in there at the moment, but very much like a car wash, the trailers will get washed down with that phosphoric acid wash. Then, in addition to the wash bay for the actual trailer subframes, we also have a conveyorized paint system and wash bay. So this system here allows us to hang all of our small parts, things like ramps, gates, toolboxes, things like that, that are going to be mated up with the subframe later. They can be put onto this conveyorized system. They'll go through an automatic wash bay, they'll go through a dryer, and then they'll go into the paint booth to be painted, and then they'll meet up with the trailer when we get to the other side in assembly.
Nice. Now, you got something really special over here.
Yeah, so
we talked about yesterday.
yeah, so one of the trailers that you're picking up, Josh, is one of our GNX Gooseneck trailers. Those trailers feature an engineered beam. This piece of equipment here is a beam welder, so we fabricate our own engineered beams using our top and bottom plate and our web, and this machine will weld that beam up for us, and we're able to do up to 44 feet in length with this beam welder.
Wow.
So here you can see a subframe assembly in process, very much like the subframe on the trailer that you're getting. So this is an example of the engineered beam. You can see here the quality of our beam welder and the consistency of the weld.
Cool.
We use a torque tube, what we call cross tube torque control on our heavy duty gooseneck trailers to help with stability when hauling heavy loads.
So this trailer, if it were just 2 beams, could twist. Is that
That's
right?
right. That's right. Yep.
So typically, you were telling me yesterday, typically these trailers have torque tubes that run what do you call it?
Yeah, yes.
Parallel.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Okay, so what makes this better?
Correct, correct. So we just feel like this gives a lot more rigid, a lot more stability in between the frame.
Nice.
Relative to just a vertical.
And the I-beams that go in between right here, that's why you see these cutouts. Those are for the I-beams they go into. Instead of just butted up against, they're welded into the frame
it's
itself.
what we call a pierced frame. So we use 3-inch I-beam for our cross members, and the frame is pierced. So those I-beams would slide right in those cutouts. And to your point, yes, instead of welding it up against, it passes through the frame.
These are the axles. These are the actual axles that would be under my trailer.
Yeah,
is that right?
So here you can see a set of, we use Dexter axles on all of our trailers. This is a set of 12,000-pound Dexter axles, which are very much like the axles that are on the trailer that you're getting. Yes.
Awesome.
We use Dexter exclusively on all of our trailers, and they serve us very well, and they're very well known in the industry. Reliability, and just a very good partner of us. Here you can see the fabrication process for the gooseneck. Now this is upside down, but this is actually the gooseneck for that subframe that we saw earlier. Nice. That'll come down the line, and these two pieces will be mated together. So there you can have an idea of what it looks like when we're manufacturing the engineered gooseneck.
Look at those welds, man. That's just clean as a whistle down through there. That's some heavy duty stuff.
So all of our trailers, before they go into the paint booth, after they come out of the wash bay, we will seal all of the seams. So you'll notice this gray sealant here. We seal all of the seams. Any place that there would be an opportunity for water or moisture to get behind the steel, we will seal that before we paint. And again, it's very much just to prevent any water penetrating behind the steel, so that there are no rust issues, later in the trailer's life. So it prevents rust bleed and helps to keep the finish of the trailer looking its best. After the trailers are done there, they would go inside of our paint booth. So there you can see just a trailer getting painted within our paint booth. So we're able to paint up to 44 feet trailer length within our paint booth. So after the trailer's finished in the paint booth, it'll come into our flash off area where the paint will be allowed to dry and to heat cure. I'll be able to show you a couple of trailers that have finished the painting process.
It's about 140 degrees in here, guys.
So as you can tell, it's very warm in here. And again, we just heat cure the paint. This track here, you'll see this is a conveyorized paint system that I was telling you about, where we have small parts that came through the conveyorized system and were washed, dried, and painted. And then here you see a couple trailers that are ready. Once they're dry, we'll be able to send those out to begin the assembly process.
Nice. Now, are the trailers primed and painted? Was that primer that I saw him putting on?
Yeah, so we use a 2-part polyurethane process. We use a primer and then a top coat, an enamel, polyurethane enamel top coat.
Nice,
yep.
Nice.
Okay, and then after they're dry, the trailers will then come to our staging area here where the trailers are awaiting final assembly. The first step is wiring. So in the wiring process, we would install all of the lights, the tail lights, turn signals, the marker lights, the wiring harness from the front to the rear. We use Phillips wiring harnesses. There are sealed harnesses, gel-filled, watertight. Depending on the trailer model, you might have 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 harness assemblies. So we do that intentionally so that in the event that you lost one of the sections of wiring, so for example, sometimes we have people, trailer user will pull the end of the wiring harness off.
And these
we can go ahead and replace just the front section without having to replace the entire harness.
So there's a plug system down here, and each section has a plug for that section. So if you run over something, catch it,
That's right. We can replace just the front, or you might be on a job site and maybe drag the bottom of the trailer, some uneven ground, and pull some of the wiring out at the rear of the trailer. We can get you just the rear section.
Nice. So you just call up after you bought the trailer, say, here's my serial number, here's what I got.
That's right.
I tore out this section of wire.
That's right.
You guys mail it right out.
We'll get you a new section. Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Then from there, they would come into our hydraulics area, which is this area here. So if the trailer gets hydraulics, it would come to this stage next. So here's a dump trailer that's in process right now. So we install the hydraulic pumps, We install the 12-volt batteries to power the pumps, the selector valves, and all the hoses. We make our own hoses. We have fittings, and any hydraulic need that we have, we can do in-house.
How can somebody find a Belmont trailer? We can go to belmonttrailers.com?
Yeah, you can go to belmonttrailers.com, visit our website. We have our dealer locator on there, so depending on where you're located, you can search by your zip code and it'll show you the closest dealers. You can put in a so many mile radius depending on how far you're willing to travel to find a trailer. But we do have dealers all up and down the East Coast. And we even have dealers now more in the north central region of the U.S. So if you just put in your zip code, it'll show you where the nearest dealer is.
It's worth the drive, guys. This is super, super high quality stuff. I heard about these guys through Stanley the Dirt Monkey going to trailer shows, and these stood out over and above the rest. You guys, you attend 3 or 4 different events every year for showcasing your trailers. And I hear that there's a guy there that always wants to buy every Belmont trailer.
That's right.
That's pretty cool, man.
That's right.
That speaks to quality.
Yes, it does for sure. We've got a quality product. Our trailers come with a 5-year warranty, which is one of the better warranties in the industry. And we're very much strong on support after sale. So very much if you buy a Belmont trailer, it doesn't just end with the sale. Not only through our dealer network, but also here directly at our factory. If you ever have a question, if you have an issue, if you have a warranty situation, you can contact us directly and our team will take care of you.
Cool. You get a real person.
That's right.
Nice.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Of course.
It's so awesome to be able to come up here, spend some time, show real American-made products, guys. Real American manufacturing. It's going on right here in Lancaster,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yes,
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh.
Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to go hook these trailers up and haul them back to North Carolina, man. It's going to be great.
Come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge.
So that in the event that you lost
Woo!